Welcome to episode 23 of the Die Laugh Love podcast. As we dive into this, I just want to remind everybody that the the name Die Laugh Love podcast is a play on that excuse me, that idea of live, laugh, love, but a reminder that we are all going to die one day. Not to be a negative Nancy or a Debbie Downer for you, but we are all going to die one day, and we should do our damnedest to live and laugh while we have the opportunity to live, no matter what we're facing. Now, I have a personal goal this month of walking 90 miles. 90 miles. I have set a goal to walk 90 miles this month because I do what I call an old man walk. And the old man walk is all about becoming an old man. Now, that is keeping myself healthy and fit, walking outside in nature, connecting to nature, touching base with my mental and emotional, spiritual health. I think walking is just an easy way to get out into the world, increase our health, and become an old person. Now, when it comes to that, this morning, as I was doing my old man walk, I was thinking about this podcast and where it was going to go. And I have had experiences over, the time doing this and other sessions where spirits will come to me and they will show up and they will kind of like say, hey, this is the direction that you're going in. For those who are unfamiliar with my process, I do have a greater spirit that helps me and kind of coordinates and points me in a direction. Now, here's where it gets weird, because I thought today's episode was going to be at about a particular topic until, like I said, about a half hour ago, something happened to me, and I'm seeing how the two are blending together. For those of you who have seen prior episodes, there was an episode that I recorded, I can't remember how long ago, called Bear, Doofus, and Willow. And Bear was a Maine Coon cat that came through. Doofus was a piranha that came through. And Willow stood for the tree that came through in spirit. And that goes to show us that in the world of spirit, in the unseen world, that it's not just the human dead that are carrying on or in the unseen world, but animal spirits, tree spirits, angelic spirits, spirits of the fae or the hidden folk. For every one thing that we see, there are 9 things that we do not see. So this morning, I thought that I was headed in the direction of channeling pets and animals. And I'm not saying that I'm not. I think that's still going to happen, because I had a really strange synchronicity happen. This morning, I go for my walk and I start to think about the pets and the messages that are coming to me and kind of in that direction that I'm headed in. And then I have a couple of sessions before this podcast today. And I get to the studio space, I look on my calendar, and wouldn't you know that the owner of Doofus, the piranha, came to see me today. It was a weird synchronicity that Doofus's mother, the piranha's mother, ended up sitting across from me today for a one-on-one session. So I said, that's interesting. I've done a single pet episode and I have one of the pet owners come to me, all of that. But then, right before this session, I went and did something. And I want to share with you guys what this is, because for me personally, I have a lot of communication, visitations, and dreams from spirit. Spirit comes to me in my dreams, gives me information, leads me, guides me, heals me. I think that I'm not the only one that happens to. I think it can happen to, most of us out there that are aware of our dreams. So, couple months ago, maybe a month ago, I had this dream where I was about to get on stage for a live event. And I was eating apple pie prior to getting on stage. I was eating apple pie. I took that very literally. I'm not a huge apple pie fan. It's not a thing for me, but the spirits that are with me, that guide me, will send me messages, show me things, point me in the direction that I have to go in. And one of the things that I do before I do a live event is I get myself some apple pie. just a little bit of apple pie to get the sugar up, to give me a little boost, not to walk into an experience like this hungry. So here in Littleton, New Hampshire, we have our local food co-op. And I go up and I get just a little apple pie just so I can eat this about a half hour before I get going. You know, the fruit of the gods, the fruit of love, apples, a little bit of sugar, some good stuff to get going and to maintain my energy as I do this. And that's worked out very well for me as I'm on stage in front of, you know, live audiences and all that stuff. In our food co-op, we have in the exit in the foyer as you walk out, like a bulletin board with posters, but there's a big bookshelf there with books that people bring to gift. I pick up a book. I'm drawn to a book, and I've had weird experiences with books that were there. This morning, I found a book there that I didn't pick up. It was a dog mystery. It was gone by the time I went back. It was called It's a Beautiful Woof, like it's a plan, a beautiful life. So on that shelf, I was looking, that book was gone, but I found this little book that's called A Life of My Own. And the title of it is Meditations on Hope and Acceptance. And I'm like, wow, that's very cool. You know, a little book on meditations on hope and acceptance. Why not? Pick it up. And I'm walking through the parking lot with this book and with my apple pie. And I hear a woman's voice go, "Hey, sir. Hey, sir." And she gets my attention. And this is a woman that I used to work with years and years and years ago. I did recently have an experience with her, though, that I had to reach out to her about. So I can't say that I know this woman well. I used to work with her probably 18 years ago. It was quite some time ago. A few weeks ago, I had a dream with her in it. And in this dream, her dead brother comes to me. And we are in the family's house. We are with the dead brother, the dead mother, and this woman. And I know this woman's kind of open. So I have this big dream with her dead brother and her dead mother. And I know that they're passed. I don't know how they've passed. And I wake up and the dream absolutely shook me because it's not what I call a washing machine dream. It's not just a dream that will come to me from like the junk of the day getting washed out of your brain. I I reached out to her and I was like, "Hey, I had a dream. Are you kind of open to it? You know, it's a little disturbing, but if you're open to it, she knows who I am. She knows what I do. If you're open to it, I'd like to share it. You know, I'm asking her permission. I'd like to share it with you." So I share it with her. And basically, in the dream, what had happened is that she had died. I told her, I was like, "I had a dream where you died, and I had to reach out to you. And your brother was there. And I don't think you're going to die, but the brother was there, and he was apologizing, and he was apologizing, and he was apologizing." But come to find out that her brother died from alcohol poisoning. He literally drank himself to death. Now, today is June 8th, and I am walking across the parking lot of the Littleton Food Co-op with this book open to June 8th, and I'm reading the page. I read the page, and then I hear, "Hey, sir." This woman appears, and she's talking to me, right? She was just calling me sir. It was like a joke. She's a little younger than me. But I'm going to read to you what June 8th's meditation was. Okay. June 8th. Each of us has a higher power for guidance as we travel our unique journey through life. If we get too involved with another person's problems, we hinder the journey that person needs to make. We aren't the other person's higher power. To back away, to detach, is really the most loving thing we can do. It's letting the other person find a unique path. It's letting that person grow and change in the ways that fulfill his or her purpose. We may resist detachment now because we used to get self-worth from caretaking others. We mistakenly thought that caretaking others was essential to our journey. It never was. But showing support and offering love and prayers are. We are learning to see what is in the best interest of all recovering people, those who are chemically dependent and those of us who love them. And then it ends at the bottom, "I will be loving, but I won't do for other people what they need to do for themselves today." So I picked this up thinking that it was just a meditation on hope and acceptance. And I didn't realize that it was for reflections that gently guide friends and family working programs like Al-Anon, Nar-Anon, and Kokanon to get a better sense of ourselves. 12-step principles. This is a like an AA book or an Al-Anon book. And I'm reading June 8th. And then I hear from this woman who struggled because her brother drank himself to death. I'm telling you, people, the universe is weird, and that's what we would call a synchronicity. Now, when it comes to the readings for today, when I was out on my walk, I had a horse come to me. Now, I do have a horse farm up the road from me, but it was interesting because I had a horse come to me, and then what felt like a tiger cat come to me. And then I hear the word marigold, and I'm like, okay, so this is going to be a pet episode. But then it also feels like it's going to be an episode of people who are apologizing from the world of spirit for their chemical dependency. All of these things are just coming together in a very strange way. And I think I know why they're coming together in this way. But before I get into what this means, I want to kind of open this up to the first reading. And I just want to get it out of the way because I've got to figure this out as this happens to me and it happens through me. Now, remember, this is where people will participate. I want to ask if anybody here has a horse in spirit, a pet horse. Is there a horse person here? Somebody who would have had a horse. I don't know if it was a Morgan horse, but I'm hearing the word Morgan. Okay. This feels like a very proud horse. This feels like, I don't know if this is when you were a child, and I don't know if you have a brother, because I get the impression that this horse might not have liked your brother. So I want to ask anybody here if they had had a horse that they loved dearly, named dearly, had a horse.
I did. I had a pony.
Okay, give me who is this? This
It's
is the
Pamela.
Brooke and Pamela. Okay.
Yes.
Hi Pamela. So it's a pony.
Yeah, I had a pony.
Okay. Did you have a brother?
I do have a brother, yes.
You did have a brother. Was he a jerk to the pony? Did the pony not like the brother?
He was young when before we had to finally give Peanut away. But yeah, so he was like 5, so he would do things to Peanut.
Pony.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this is going to be for you, okay? So I'm going to bring you up on Spotlight. We're going to share this here, okay? So
Okay.
we're going to share this time together. We're going to get into this. And here, okay. So again, remember this gets weird. Just follow me as we go through this. Follow me. So I'm going to spotlight you, bring you up for everybody. I'm going to spotlight myself, and we're going to share in the time together. Okay. You prefer Pamela versus
I
Pam?
do. I do.
Okay. So Pamela, thank you for that. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay, hold on. All right. Uh, may I also ask, did you ever have a woman in your life who was on the sauce?
My grandmother, yes.
Okay. The like called it the work I'm hearing it as like the sauce. Okay,
Yes, that
okay,
would
okay,
be.
okay. 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 All right. So again, see how these two things are coming together. The love of pets and the consciousness that carries on from the pets that were loved, as well as the people in spirit that were dependent on chemicals. Okay. So there's again, remember, there's a lot of wisdom that comes through these connections and a lot of lessons that spirit wants to share with us. Pamela, ask me who is here with you. We've got a Brooke here with you. Okay,
Yep.
so Brooke, hi Brooke. We're going to pause for a moment here, and Brooke, I'm going to ask you a question, um, and don't tell me why exactly, but God damn it, Pamela, you should be proud of yourself. Are you proud of yourself?
I have become so, yes.
Okay, it's interesting because I don't know who you are or what you do, but there's a significant just energy rolling off of you about the impact you have on the lives of other people, the seriousness with which you take your journey and your goals, and why would they call you inspirational? Are you literally inspirational, Pamela?
Yes. I mentor through managing. Yes.
You mentor what?
I mentor through managing. I've been a manager of people most of my life. So I mentor that way, I would
And
say.
so you're inspirational and you give of yourself, and you know you should be proud of yourself and the contribution that you have and the role you have in people's lives. Okay, that's excellent. So thank you for that. Okay, so I want to ask, did people consider this woman to be evil?
I never saw that, no. But she was a fairly hard woman. She didn't take any crap. Let's put it that way.
Okay, this was your grandmother. Yeah,
Yes.
we have different relationships with our parents. I've got to wonder if the generation up would have a different perspective, and how grandparents are usually kinder to their grandkids than they are to their kids.
My mother was afraid of my grandmother.
Yes, okay, okay, I get that. So this is like I think that there might have been an air of like I hate using them, but I'm going to use air quotes evilness to this woman. Okay, so when I say this to you, and here's why I think what we're supposed to talk about today is why sometimes the death of our pets, even horses, what have you, can impact us to a greater degree than the death of our people. And here's why. And now we take both of these things side by side. Can I ask you, you said you got rid of Peanut?
Yeah, Peanut. Yeah.
Okay. So Peanut didn't die with you. Peanut died
Mm,
elsewhere.
no, it died elsewhere, but he was getting old. So my
He was
dad
getting
did
old. Okay.
not want me to
The
find
only way
Peanut
for this
dead.
the only way for this horse or pony to come through to me is from a place of love. Do you know what I mean? From a place of love. So you must have had a love for this pony.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's at this point that I have to talk to people about my impression as to why animals carry on. Some animals, some people have heard this from me, and if you've heard it from me before, please bear with me. If you've never heard it from me, here's a little bit of education, and I'm going to use a feral cat as an example. So we all use the word spirit and soul interchangeably, and I don't think we should. I think they're different parts of us. So a feral cat that's out in the woods, out in the street, out in the wild, when that animal dies, as all animals do, the energy or the spirit of that animal will sort of get recycled in the great earth battery. The earth battery, this big energy, it's just going to go back into it and come back out in another form. When we love an animal and we individuate it, when we individualize it through love and naming it, we either give it a soul or we evolve the spirit into a soul that gives it a sense of identity, gives it a sense of self that helps it carry on in the world of spirit. So there are some traditions that would say that's kind of where we all started. And it makes me look at Native American tribes that would kind of call themselves the turtle tribe or the bear tribe in a whole different light because of that. Now, that's something that we can't prove, so it's complete conjecture, but it's something that we have to sit with. Now, there's a reason here why. I also want to ask you, Pamela, you've been very skillful in not falling down the trap of chemical dependency, yes?
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I think you probably could. I think it's in your family. You know what I mean? Anybody can, especially those things that give us pleasure and those things that we can have access to, whether it's sex or gambling or alcohol or drugs. We can all sort of become addicted to those sorts of things. Okay. She describes herself as evil to me. She's describing herself as evil. So I think, that's subjective, of course, but she's saying that she's grateful that you've become a woman that can be proud of herself. She's grateful that you've become a woman who can become proud of herself. And the other part of this, too, is may I ask you, do you also have a pet cemetery?
Mm, yes. We we found a cat on the side of the road that was only with us for a few hours, but we took them to the vet and they put her down. But because my children are the kind of children that would make us stop when they see a cat on the side of the road, um, that pet did have a name, and it does have a place where we buried it, and we have a picture of that cat, even though that cat was only with us for probably 12 to 14 hours before it passed away. So yes, on my property right now there is a cat named Napita that we have, that we consider part of our family. Yes.
Lapita.
Napita, yes.
So you had a pony named Peanut and a cat named Lapita. Okay.
Yeah, Napita with an N.
Not Peta, not Peta. Okay, 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 okay. So it's interesting that this woman, in whatever way she would have, affected the lives of other people, hurt other people, there is a sense of the words that I'm hearing is a dark acceptance to it, because this was, I think this woman was a full-blown alcoholic, not just somebody who liked to drink. I think that this woman had alcoholism, which is, when we look at it in a responsible light, a disease. It is a disease, like cancer, like asthma. It is a condition or a disease. Okay. She would have lost herself to that in that way, and of course had regret. But it's interesting that, despite all of that, there is this energy of being proud of you that you've become a woman who is unconditionally able to love, to pick up the cat on the side of the road and bury it in the backyard and give it that sense of finality and give it that closure. Now, the other thing too about you is, may I ask, and this isn't necessarily coming from your grandmother, although the message is kind of being translated by all of them together. I want to ask, do you have an itch or an urge to write a book, a manual, or a guide?
Yes, I've actually been thinking about that a lot in the last couple of days. Yes.
Okay. That's not you. What I'm getting, like, it is you, but I'm getting that, like, you're getting kind of punched by spirit, urged, nudged by spirit to take the things that you've learned and you've developed, and put it into some sort of like manual or book. Make sure that you're able to pass this on to people, because there's something about you getting tired. You know what I mean? Like, tired. Like, I feel like you need to have a book or something do this work for you.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Yes.
Okay. The other part of this too is, somehow, remember I used my grandmother's French. So here's a little warning for some sailor talk. Okay. God damn it. You apparently have a skillful way to tell people to stuff it. like 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 stuff it. Like get,
I
I
actually
don't know.
I actually got hired by someone once who had seen me working with people. I was a temp, and then he hired me to be his customer service manager. And he said because I could tell people to go to hell and they would enjoy the trip. So yes, what you're saying is yeah, that's me.
Okay. So weirdly, what I have to do is I have to open this book up to June 8th again on this little book, and I have to read to you the bottom of the page. It said, I will be loving, but I won't do for other people what they need to do for themselves today. And sometimes people just need to go to hell. Like, get stuffed. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So when it comes to this, uh, I don't think that you're going to lose that urge to write your book until you actually write your book. I do think that you have greater powers with you, kind of nudging you and asking you to do the thing, put it into a format. Here's an opportunity for me to plug my latest book. Do you know what I mean? Like, Like these things are they will not leave us until we bring them into physical form in the world, especially when they're spirit induced. When they're spirit induced, that urge is very difficult to get away from it. Okay. So here's the other thing that I want to here is the other thing that I want to talk to people about is that okay, and this is important because now I'm speaking to other people on the call today, like in our session. Excuse me as I clear my throat. Okay. I believe that there are people on our call today in our group, or perhaps will listen to this in the future, who have struggled with alcoholism or chemical dependency in the past. And I think that what happens is that we have a tendency to moralize these issues. Like if I do X, Y, and Z, I'm a bad person or I'm a good person. Now, Dawn would have brought up a blog post that I just wrote last week saying, my body is not the enemy. I want to tell people why I had to write that blog post and why I had to work with my therapist about it. Because I literally woke up in my kitchen eating. I woke up in my kitchen eating. I have no shame about this because I'm not going to moralize it, but I want to tell people why this happened to me. I literally not just slept walk. I used to sleepwalk as a kid, but I slept walk as an adult, went into the kitchen and started eating ice cream and woke up. And so I'm like asking my therapist, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And she asks me, well, what did you eat that day? What had you been eating recently? And I said, well, I'm trying intermittent fasting. I'm trying fasting. I'm trying to, lose weight by, skipping meals and, all the stuff that you see online about healthy fasting and all of that. And she's like, well, there's this thing called primal hunger, and your body will not care. Your body apparently woke up and did a thing that you could not control. I bring that up because I think that there are people like I'm lucky that I dodged the bullet in my family of alcoholism. Okay, I'm lucky that I dodged that bullet. But I'm now coming to realize that my body has a brain, my body has an intelligence. No matter what the world has taught me I should look like or what I should be, my body is going to want a particular thing and it's going to do the thing to get that way. And of course, the therapist is like, "Hey, being overweight to your body is far better than starving. And you're literally starving your body. So your body is acting out." Now, if I did have that genetic compulsion for alcoholism, there would be that sense of feeling out of control. And I'm speaking to other people on this call who would have a genetic propensity for alcoholism, for cannabis addiction, for any sort of other pleasure center. I mean, our brain has opiate receptors, our brain has nicotine receptors, THC receptors. Our brain has these receptors for these things. And the analogy that I often use is that our body is like a horse and our soul is like a rider, in that our body is an animal and it's going to do things. You cannot control your body's digestion. You can try to control your body's, breath, but it's going to do it by itself. It's going to digest by itself. So your body has an intelligence that has nothing to do with your soul. It has everything to do with it being a biomechanical animal in this 3D reality that we call Earth. There is something here. I'm feeling people in this session right now who have had addiction issues, alcohol issues, and I feel like they moralize these things. Like, I'm not going to moralize the fact that I woke up in the middle of the night and I was eating ice cream because I was starving myself. My body's not the enemy. The culture that I was raised in that taught me my body was the enemy is the enemy. And that's what we need to realize. So I don't know. Like, I almost could pick the people out. If I brought the screen back up, I could almost point, and I'm not going to point at the people. I'm not going to point at the people that I feel are here that have these sorts of issues. But I want to ask you if you've ever had these issues. to do your best to not moralize them, to not think of yourself as a person that's lesser than or weak. For anybody that would like to understand body science a little bit better, when you're off of this session, go to YouTube and look up a video called Poodle Science. The logic and the science that we have around bodies, around calories in, calories out, it is not accurate and it is not fair and it is not good science. So don't moralize your food intake, don't moralize any sort of addiction issues, but do your damnedest to understand them through a lens of grace. Now, with that being said, I want to thank you, Pamela, for being here. And I just want to thank you for being a kick-ass person. I want to thank you for being a person that should be proud of yourself. Please write your goddamn book.
I will.
Okay.
Maybe by the time I get to the retreat. How about that?
Excellent. So write it. Okay. Please.
Okay.
All right. So thank you for that. What retreat are you talking about?
We're coming to your retreat
over Halloween.
Over Halloween.
Oh, well, welcome.
Margaret is that my first name. So you probably have the reservation under Margaret McKissick, but this is, we're both coming.
Yep.
Oh,
we got
nice to meet you.
Which, well, yeah, you've done
the Magnolia Room.
We got the Magnolia Room. Yeah, I think that's what we got. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, for people that don't know, a retreat coming up, Halloween weekend of this year in Bath, New Hampshire at a big farmhouse. Thank you for that. There's 2 rooms left. It's on my website. If anybody wants to join in on the fun, it's 4 nights and 3 days of magic and wildness. All right. So thank you for that. I got to get to the next spirit. Okay. So thank you for being here. All right. So I'm going to mute you and I'm going to take you off of spotlight and we're going to get going to the next person. Next animal too, I think. Oh my gosh. Okay. So here we go. All right. So I had a horse come to me, pony come to me, right? Like this is kind of the direction that we're going to go in with today's session. And then I had a tiger come to me. And there's probably a 0.00001% chance that there's a person on this call who might have had a pet tiger, but I think it's like a tiger cat. But I also want to pause here. Because man, oh man, I want to talk to you about something that happened yesterday. And here's where the pet and the substance abuse thing kind of overlaps. So I gave a reading yesterday to a young woman, and she had lost her brother. And he kept telling me through the session, when you see an orange cat, it's me. I think, like, I was telling her, I was like, I think a tiger cat's going to come into your life. An orange tiger cat's going to come into your life. And she says to me, well, orange was his color. Orange was his favorite color. So it's interesting. Who here has like an orange cat? Did anybody lose an orange cat? An orange tabby cat? A tiger? Did anybody have a dog named Tiger? Did anybody have a tiger? Here's the other thing with this animal. Did it eat weird things? And the reason that I ask that is because I don't think cats normally eat spinach, but I get like this, like I'm eating spinach, or maybe it like ate a lot of maybe it ate a lot of catnip or grass or ate house plants or something like that. Does anybody here have, and now I'm getting like Tigger, like Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, tiger. Anybody have an animal like that? Okay, so we got Wanda and we got Carolyn. Okay, my sister had an orange cat and a dog named Tiger. Okay, so Pam, hold on 1 second. Pam, you don't have your camera on. Okay, a dog named Tiger. Hold on. So Pam has her camera off and she just put into the chat, Wanda and Carolyn, you hold on 1 second. Pam, may I ask you? This is an interesting thing. So Pam, may I ask you, was there anybody in your life, and just give me a yes or no in chat, was there anybody in your life who passed away from addiction? My husband had a cat named Tigger who was a tiger cat. Okay, hold on. So Aaron, you said you had a husband The chats are going fast. Had a husband who had a tiger cat whose name was Tigger. He was very close to him. Okay. Aaron, do you have anybody in your life that was passed from addiction? Self-inflicted harm, anything like that?
No, I can't point to anybody in my life who had, but my husband is struggling with alcoholism currently.
Okay. So, all right. Do you see where all of this stuff is coming from and how it's all relating? And
very much so. A lot of what you had said in the first reading, I've been trying to get him to come on here, and he's a little shy about it, but I think that I was like, I'm going to make him listen to this because I think he would take a lot from that first reading, or what you were saying for sure.
Okay, so you can totally, when this recording is live, you can bring this to him. You can make him watch it, okay? Because you said your husband is struggling from alcoholism. Okay.
Yes.
Can I ask you, is he moralizing it?
Oh yeah, that's probably the biggest thing holding him back from really putting a stop to it. Is the moralizing it? Yeah.
Okay, so you and I are gonna have this conversation. Now, I'm gonna bring you up on Spotlight, and this is a spotlight for me too. So we're gonna go side by side. Okay. So he had a tiger cat that he loved named Tigger, very close to him. Yeah. So here is what's going on. You have a pet spirit. You have an animal spirit in your life, in your spirit court, whatever you want to call it, that is watching somebody that's alive hurt. And do you see here where
he passed away on his 21st birthday? Yeah. He passed away on his 21st birthday while he was partying it up. He got the call that his family had put his beloved pet to sleep. Yeah. A lot of pain and hurt surrounds that pet of his.
So here's a funny thing. What I have found through this process of when I wrote that blog about waking up and eating, right? What the hell is that? I also had to write about how, because there are some people here who haven't read it, I had to write about how my school nurse, when I was in 8th grade, got in touch with my mother and had my mother take me to the doctor because she thought something was wrong with me. And here's what she thought was wrong with me. I was 5'8" in 7th grade. And when she measured me in 8th grade, I was 6'2.5". In a year's time, I went from 5'8" to 6'2.5". I went 6.5 inches, grew 6.5 inches. I had to have calories. So who I am as a living person, my genetics, my mom is a very big woman. My dad is a very big man. I have these genetics. I mean, for people who have seen me in person, you know how big I am. I'm a giant. Okay. Yeah. So what I have done is that by writing that blog, here is an interesting process that people have to understand, because I've gotten a lot of messages when I wrote that, and people reached out to me and was like, thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for helping me understand things through a different light. Thank you. I'm breaking the spell. I'm breaking the stigma of that. We moralize these things. We moralize these parts of being human. And I believe that your husband, who's struggling from alcoholism, I would almost guarantee that he has this in his family.
Oh, yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Okay. Yeah. So what I can tell your husband, and I will speak to him directly here, is that his struggle is not a moral failing. It is not a moral failing. It is something that he's dealing with that he doesn't understand completely. And I will say that from a spiritual aspect of it, what I'm getting is that I think his soul is craving for something else. I think his soul craves for something else. And I think that the alcohol, this is kind of like that perfect storm where two things are meeting at the same time. What I'm getting is I feel like this person, there's a part of this person, I think, that seeks to be important. What I'm getting is this person should have his own business. This person should have his own thing and do his own thing. And there's this, I think his soul desires not to be insignificant. I think he wants to play at large on a soul level. And I think the genetic compulsion of drinking alcohol is somehow helping him like deal with the terms that are coming to me are soul misplacement. Soul misplacement. So there's something about his soul's kind of off track, you know, like he's off his fate line. He should be doing something else, you know. Okay. Okay, so Aaron, I've got to ask you, did he have has he lost anybody named AJ? Has he lost anybody named BJ, DJ, anybody like that? Two syllable name, two letters?
I don't think so. He's out fishing right now, so I can't ask him. Not that I can think of.
So maybe he hasn't lost them. So what I'm getting is this message of like, he can't become like these two letters. There's it might be a living person who's totally destroyed their life with alcohol. I'm not sure. But like maybe JRAJ, is there a junior? Is there somebody in his life who he cannot become like?
His younger brother's name is Jesse, and he's very much like his father, which is not Adam's biological father, but his little brother's biological father. I think he's also struggling with alcoholism, but this poor guy can barely move. He's really mentally unstable and has a lot of physical disabilities and stuff like that. And he just drinks himself to avoid the pain. You know, he's not a junior, but he might as well be, I guess.
Yeah. No. I get it. AJJ. I'm seeing the J. His name's Jesse.
Yeah,
you know, all of that
Jesse.
stuff. Okay. All right. So, all right. Sometimes, you know, we benefit from having role models of the people that we don't want to be like. Do you know what I mean? Like we've got role models that will show us who to be like, and we have role models to show us who we don't want to be like. I will say that the ball is in his court, your husband's court. I do have to say that, you know, there's nobody's coming to save him but him. Like he has to show up for himself. He has to show up for himself.
Yeah. And not out of guilt.
You can't save him.
Yeah.
Correct. You can't save him. His parents can't save him. You know, nobody can save him but him. And
he's so capable of it. That's what kills me the most, that he really has, like you were saying, this really powerful soul, and he's got so many major talents and passions. You know, he's very passionate about things, and it does feel a little bit like he hasn't quite found his soul's calling or his soul's purpose or something, but he's just not quite there, and the alcohol really holds him back. He just numbs out, you know. He's like feeling all these really big feelings, and he chooses the numbness, and he knows it's a choice, and then he beats himself up, and he'll go a little while and he won't drink at all, and he's super proud of himself, and everything goes really good, and then he'll pick it back up, and there's a lot of shame that he carries from picking it back up.
Few things, Aaron, as I'm talking about this. So one, was he an athlete in high school?
No, he's a very talented chef.
Very talented chef. Okay, hold on. Okay. So the only reason I'm talking about athleticism is that it feels like he needs to work on his endorphin, dopamine, and serotonin. Like a good workout, like a good exercise workout will help to like compensate for this. So he might need his own old man walk. You know, this morning, I had a long day yesterday. I had a late night last night. I wake up this morning a little pissy. I woke up on the wrong side of the litter box. I go for my walk, and by the time I'm done with my walk, I'm feeling better. So I was just noticed like how those walks, if he could get in a half-hour walk in the morning, that might help him. The other thing too that I think would benefit him greatly is visualization. So here's, you know, again, I'm not trained in any of this stuff. I'm just telling you the stuff that's coming to me that I think might help him. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a paper calendar on the wall?
I have a dry erase board calendar on my fridge.
You do? Okay. So here is something that I think would help him. Okay. It takes 21 days to build a new habit. Do you know this?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
21 days to build a new habit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the X on the day, like put
Yep.
an X on the day. Did not drink today. Okay. Did not
Mm-hmm.
drink today. Did not drink today. Right. And we build the visual X's. Dun, 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 dun. You know how
Right.
he's talking about like I see the X's, like he goes for a certain amount of time and then kind of falls off the
Mm-hmm. And
wagon
he
and then
usually
beats
writes
himself
it
up.
on the calendar when he stopped. Like he'll put a little mark on that one day where it was the last day he drank. And he goes through. He doesn't put a visual X though. That would probably really help him so it's out there, we hold him accountable a little bit. Like everybody can see it. Especially him. Yeah. But he has
Yeah.
done that many times where he'll make a little mark, just a little X on that one day was the last day. I don't think he's ever quite made it 21 days. It's usually a couple of weeks before he'll have a bad mood, wake up on the wrong side of the litter box, so to speak, and just makes it up in his mind. Forget it. Screw it. We're going back. Who cares?
Well,
And
you
then he
know, I
feels like,
and
it's a vicious
I
cycle.
think I think the definition of an adult for men and women alike is when we realize that our behavior has an impact on the lives of those that we love.
Yeah, major. And that what kills him because he's very, very loving man. He has
Okay.
big, big heart. Yeah. So to know that it has affected the people he loves, it hurts him. And, he beats himself up and there's all this shame he carries around it.
Here's something, Aaron, because I know that you're a spiritual person. Okay, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
invite you. I don't know if this is appropriate for you, or maybe he has to do this for himself. But I want to talk about how, and this is where I think a lot of us humans suffer is because we lack ceremony and ritual in our life. So I'll give you
Yeah.
a for instance. Women, and again, this is a generalization. This is a generalization. There's going to be
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of examples that defy what this generalization means, but generally speaking, women are more mature than men.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, women are more mature than men. And one of the reasons that happens is because women get inducted or initiated into adulthood because of their biological cycle. So around 12 or 13, when a woman has a period, they'll have other women that go, "Hey, honey, you're a woman now." Men
Yeah.
don't generally have that. So
That's true.
men, generally speaking, will stay about 12 years old until they're about 40,
Makes
45.
sense. Yeah.
Okay.
He's 40. He just
Now,
turned 40 this year.
okay. So you're
Yeah.
pretty lucky in that way. You're lucky in that
Yeah.
way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Usually what happens is like a midlife crisis usually happens to a man that whose systems like reject his childlike bullshit, like
Right.
workplaces, family places, like, no, you're hurting us, and then there's the midlife crisis,
Yeah.
and then there's that initiation or induction into adulthood. In tribal cultures and ancient cultures, we would have taken boys and worked them through ritual ceremony to
Yep.
work them into manhood. Okay. We don't have that, but that speaks to a larger issue with humans where we don't have ritual or ceremony to help us move through transition. So, for example, we have a wedding ceremony when we get married. People who get divorced should also have a ceremony.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, I'm going to invite you to do a thing. I think the full moon's coming up
Mm-hmm. It is next one. I think Wednesday. Yeah.
Wednesday. Okay. My husband Isaac has had shamanic training, and he works with clients and people through what he calls fire ceremonies. And what he
Mm-hmm.
does is he works with them for a certain amount of time where they create what he calls a bundle of items that represent their pain, their trauma, their turmoil, their baggage. And then he gets together with them under a full moon, drums, rattles, has ceremony, calls in spirits, and then burns those things. Now, again, I don't know if this is for you or perhaps he does this for himself, but maybe he should have a fire where he writes a letter to himself, burns
Yeah.
something under the full moon.
Yeah.
Because I feel this man's turmoil. I think that I don't think he wants to die from this. I think he's seen other people suffer from this. I think that, he understands the pain he's causing other people. And he's kind of like the dude who wakes up in the middle of the night and he's eating goddamn ice cream.
For sure is. Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do we remove ourselves from the pain of that? The stopping the moralizing, stopping the judging. You know what I mean? Where I go, okay, my body's doing a certain thing. I'm obviously not doing something right with my body. I have to understand my body, and then I'm released from it.
Yep.
So I would encourage this person. I mean, where'd the book go? Aaron, it is really strange that I would walk out of the co-op today and I would find this book.
Yeah.
It's just really peculiar. And now these pets and this alcohol stuff, it all comes together. Okay. So
I can't tell you, Josh, how much I think he really needs to hear this. I think he really, really, really needed this message from somebody that I don't think he would expect anybody to care about him enough from spirit. Like he thinks he's just washed up, or so to speak. Like he's just like, might as well throw the towel in. There's nobody coming to save me. And he just really needs to hear that. It's like, you know what? You can do it. You can totally do it. He's got it in him.
well, he's kind of right in that way that there's nobody coming to save him. I mean, his cat showed up,
but he's
right?
Yeah, he's loved. He's so loved.
He's loved.
Yeah.
He's loved. And now he takes that love and uses it to transform this, to take the crap and turn it into gold. He can do it. I mean, there have been plenty of people in this world that set a good example on this type of journey, and there's a lot of good systems out there, a lot of good resources that would help a person. It's interesting that, one of the best ways that we can look at our emotions is to go, not to identify with our emotions. And I think this is important for him to hear, and I think other people for it to hear too. The English language is clunky in the way that we would say something like, I am sad, where romantic languages and like the Irish language would say, sadness is upon me. Okay. So when we don't identify with our emotions, but we understand that we are the observer of them, we can gain power over them, or at least understanding. Now, if we could switch that, like alcoholism, and go, okay, he's not an alcoholic, but alcoholism is upon him.
Yeah. Right. It's not. It really isn't him. I tell him all the time, this is not you. You're a shining, shining star. He's such a golden heart. And when he chooses to drink, it just isn't him,
It's a soul ache. It really is a soul ache. So what I'm going to ask you to do, please, is I'm going to ask you to, when this is all produced, have him watch this, let him know that his cat is there. Okay. And here's something else that, I want you to do too. I want you to go online and I want you to get a Tigger, stuffed Tigger. I want you to order a stuffed Tigger, and I want you to put it up somewhere where there's like an ancestor altar or a place for like the dead. Okay. And I want that to be a reminder of him that he does have loved ones in spirit cheering for him.
Yep. We have Tigger's ashes in a box, actually. I just remembered. We have a little box of ashes. So I'll put that there too, with the little stuffed Tigger.
Watch what happens here. Okay. So the first session was, Pony and Evil Grandma. Like she referred to herself as Evil Grandma. Okay. Now, with that being said, the difference between human love and animal love, like I just said it prior to this, unconditional love. Sometimes it hurts to lose our animals more than it hurts to lose our people, because that is such a pure, unconditional love. This is the love that showed up for him, not human love.
And they did have a very strong love. I didn't get to meet Tigger, but he still talks about him all these years later. So I know it was a very strong love.
Okay, so take that and run with it. Okay, take that and run with it. Let him watch this and give that message to him. And also, when I say this too, when I say that I don't think it's you, I think I really don't think it's you that should lead him through a fire ceremony.
Yeah,
You
he
know what
needs
I
to do it
mean?
on his own. I've tried, Josh. You know I have.
Yeah. That
I've
sets up a
tried.
strange
He's got
dynamic,
to
and I'm
do
getting
it.
that message. Like, that's
Yeah,
not your responsibility. You can kind of
right.
give him the framework, like literally
Yep.
take
Yep.
something that represents this, burn it in a fire, and let that
Mhm.
ceremony be done. Spend some time
Mhm.
under the full moon, and let it be done.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
beautiful.
Thank you for that. I'm
Awesome.
going to take off spotlight, Aaron.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for that.
Thank
And
you.
I am going to call forth the next one. Here we go. All right. So on my walk, the horse, pony, then the tiger, Tigger. What is Marigold about? What is Marigold? Is there a Marigold? Anybody named Marigold? Anything named Marigold? That was the other thing that I heard was Marigold. Anybody have a Marigold? It could be nothing that came and it popped into my mind for no reason. Um, it might not be a name. It might be somebody who took in their grandmother's animal. So hear me out on this. When I feel like an older woman, I smell almost like mothballs. She might have gardened, she might have done planting. There might have been marigolds planted on a grave, something with marigolds. Does anybody have a connection to the plant marigolds? And it feels animal connected. Like this is like a third animal. Has anybody taken in an animal for a grandmother or a mother-in-law, somebody like that? I don't see anybody raising their hands. Okay, so I'm going to keep going with the messages because what about I'm tasting pizza, feeling pizza. I don't know if that's an Italian symbol. I don't know what that is. So anybody got the Italian um marigold will not stop for me. Is there another plant that's like a marigold? They used to plant marigolds with tomatoes to like keep. Hi, Brooke. What's
It's,
going on? I
I think
can't
it's
hear you.
me.
Okay.
Did it? Am I? Oh, can you
Yeah,
hear me
I can
now?
hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I garden and I have planted tomatoes and put basil and stuff and use that. But I've been wanting to co-plant marigolds, and I've been looking around at different stores to buy some marigolds, but they're always out. And I just ordered some seeds, and the seeds came in like yesterday. And now I'm trying to figure out, is it really too late to start growing those? But when you said pizza, and I was like, this isn't related to anything. But then when you said pizza, and I'm always going out into the garden to get the basil with the tomatoes because I doctor my pizzas with fresh basil right from that patch. So I don't know if that's it or not, but
Well, yeah, like if marigolds are a big thing, and I'm talking about pizza, and you're going out into the garden to get stuff for pizza, this has got to be it. Okay. Can I ask you, grandmother who smelled like mothballs, anything like that?
I don't know if it was like really like mothballs, but she's the one that um gardened and grew flowers. Like I feel her a lot when I'm
Hold
gardening
on.
and
I'm
doing what I
sorry.
do.
Wait. I know what the mothballs thing is. Stop. You're gonna want to Google this. Don't take my word for it. Okay, you're gonna want to Google this. Okay. You know how people would plant marigolds for um to keep the bugs away?
Mhm.
Like they put marigolds underneath tomato
Yes.
plants, but you can't
Yes.
find marigolds and it might be time to grow marigolds. Okay. Google if you put mothballs on the ground, does it keep the bugs away? I think it does. I think they might have used mothballs for this. Don't just go out and do it because I might be wrong, but like that smell of mothballs won't leave me. And I think that it is supposed to replace your marigolds.
Okay. No, I'm writing that down.
Well, fuck, I'll Google it. Where's my phone?
Yeah. It's two. Okay.
Yeah, Pamela, Google it. Google it.
I'm gonna
Pamela.
go Google
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Buds
All right.
away.
Okay. She types faster than I do, but that's okay.
So, all right, Brooke, question for you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you're a very attentive listener, and as we're talking, I think this is why the Marigold would come in. Okay. And I think this is why, like, you would be brought into this. As we're talking about, alcoholism and body stuff and food stuff and animal stuff, and we're talking about this really complicated process of being human, I have this question for you. How much shame have you brought to your own humanity? How much shame have you brought to your own compulsions and the things that bring you joy and the things that you struggle with? I get a very distinct sense that over the course of all of this, you have related to a lot of what I have talked about here and what we've shared.
Mm-hmm.
You know this?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to spotlight you. We're going to have some time here. Okay. Because I know that there is a reason why we're sharing this time together. Here we are. Okay. We're all adults here, Brooke. We're all adults here. Okay. We're all adults here. God damn it. I cannot believe the things that they make me say. Okay, Pamela, what have you found out about the mothballs?
Well, one website says yes, it's good. Another one's like, beware, children and pets could think that it's toys or edibles, so don't do it. But the other one says that it does help repel pests.
Well, naphthalene is toxic.
Yeah.
But I know that sometimes I've heard of using them to keep snakes away. But I'm not sure that you want to put them where
your food is,
where you're growing food. So what was the other thing? Paradichlorobenzene, which is,
she's so technical.
Yeah, so,
science brain.
So I'm a little, I am doing like organic and permaculture and that kind of thing.
Well, this grandmother of yours, she's not organic. Let me tell you, that's not an organic thing.
No, Mima was.
Yeah, no, she wasn't.
No,
she wasn't. And it's the funny thing is, it's not like she didn't grow her own food really. Like she didn't garden like I'm gardening. She grew flowers, and she liked growing flowers, not necessarily food.
Okay. Is there something that you can create or look into that is pungent like mothballs, but not toxic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you see where that's like? I don't think you're going to grow marigolds. Rachel's saying garlic. Do you know what I mean? Garlic is something that, I don't know if it's actually cloved garlic. I'm not sure what it is, but there's, I think, a solution to help keep the hornworms away. Okay.
That's
now.
Yes, that's exactly what it's. This is the hornworms.
It's hornworms. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back to the idea of shame. Okay.
Are you okay with this? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So here's the other thing too. This is really bizarre. So it gets all bizarre. It gets like I got to cover a bunch of bases here. Okay. So like the last episode that I did this, it was Bear, Doofus, and Willow. Okay. This one is Peanut, Tigger, and Marigold. So I had Peanut the horse, Tigger the cat, and now Marigold the plant. Okay. What if, and this is something that indigenous, tribal, other cultures will do, they work with plant spirits. So maybe there is a plant spirit that you can work with to call in somehow. I don't know how to make the hornworms go away. Okay. That's just something to work with. Now, I want you to kind of consider that because that's the spiritual part of the conversation. But now we're going to talk about the animal part. We've covered hornworms. Now let's talk about horned dog. Okay. Now, this is where it comes from. Now, Brooke, okay. Okay. I have to follow through with what they tell me. Okay. We're all adults here. This is like, and this is, see, even me, I'm a 46-year-old man who will blush. Jesus, I will blush. Okay.
Again.
You got a little freaky side, Brooke? Tell me, you got a little freaky side?
Yes. And I actually had a reading with you, gosh, back in December.
Yeah, it was our Christmas present.
Yeah. And
you said the same thing.
Yeah, and it came up then.
Okay. I was just gonna ask you, since we've talked, because I don't remember this shit. I don't remember like what I talk about with people. I lose it all. I'm gonna ask you, have you fed the beast, Brooke?
Yes. In a way, yes.
Okay. Do you moralize these things?
I am working on not moralizing them. And it's funny because this morning I was meditating and I just really got this very strong sense of just life and love and existence, and that we are, everything that we are and do is just as it should be. And I don't know, it was just a very interesting wave of that it's all part of the experience. It's all like the things that we deal with, the things that we enjoy, that's all very valuable parts of the experience. And there is, good, bad, right, wrong kind of thing. It's just the journey. And it was a really powerful message. And I like took it in and was like, I don't know like where this is coming from this morning, but yeah, I'm trying to have grace for myself and yeah.
Okay, so a couple of things here that I am compelled to say to you, okay, because the words that are coming to my mind, all right, okay, the words that are coming to mind, like what Spirit's telling me, we have to wonder what the soul gains from the human experience. What does our soul get from being human? And I can't believe I have to say this. What is your soul going to get, Brooke, from a little slap and tickle? Seriously. Like, I cannot believe I have to say this. Now, the other thing, okay, which is wild, all right, is that I did a show in Plattsburgh, New York, just a while ago. Now, Carolyn, wave your hand for me. Wave your hand so everybody can kind of see you. Put your hand up like that, wave, okay? So, remember how I was talking about the food co-op? Like walking out? Okay. So this is what happened to me about a week prior to leaving for Plattsburgh. Oh my gosh, Carolyn, hold it up. Hold it up for people to see. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is what happened to me. All right. I was walking out of the co-op and somebody left like a stack of these smutty books. Smutty books, a whole stack of them. And I'm walking out of the store and I hear, get those for Plattsburgh. Get those for Plattsburgh. Now, I also had to bring her a pack of cigarettes and I had to bring her a piece of pottery that I made because she's a creator. Like, she's doing watercolors, she's doing things like I'm doing pottery and all of this, right? So I have to like go, okay, guys, I have these books here. And I'm like reading from the book. And like, there isn't a page that you can turn to where you will not be scandalized. Okay. Like, these are scandalous books. All right. And so I'm like in front of like 100 people and I'm like, who are these gifts for? And then Carolyn raises her hand. And I love it. I love it. I love it. She had all sorts of reasons why they were in her life, but I think I think that we have to destigmatize the shame. We have so much coming to us from the patriarchy, from religion, from purity culture, from all of this. We have to remember balance. What is this? A wise woman once said, fuck this shit, and she lived happily ever after. Thank you, Pamela, for that shirt. Okay. And there's Caroline clapping. Carolyn clapping. Okay. So this is something that I need to. Bobby Joe's laughing. I'm telling you, the slap and tickle is what came to my head. All right. Here's something that I want everybody to consider as a living creature, okay? Your five senses are doorways to spirit. Your five senses are doorways to spirit. What you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you feel. If you want to give your spirit medicine, appeal to the senses, what you're looking at, what the color of your walls, the smells, you know what I mean? Those are all going to your spirit. So those are all doorways, all right? Oh my gosh, Brooke, they showing me handcuffs. Like, girl, you're a freaky deaky. Like, I love it. All right, whatever you need, right? Feed the beast.
This is so funny. Oh my God. Okay.
This is going to be an interesting Halloween. That's all I'm
It
going to say.
really is going to be an interesting Halloween.
I can't wait.
All right. Well, if anybody's got shame around this, well, I'm sorry for them. We're here to live. We're here to laugh before we die, right? The die,
Right.
laugh, love, talk. We got to live. We got to laugh. And that means understanding the human creature, understanding the animal. The animal wants food. It wants sleep. It wants play. It wants rest. And some of us aren't sexual, but if we are sexual, then we need sexual release. So here's a little tip for all of the adults in the room. This is a wise piece of advice that somebody told me a long time ago. If you find yourself stressed about a circumstance or a situation, go have sex or masturbate. And if you're still bothered after that, then it is certainly something that's bothering you. But good chance that you might not be so bothered after you had a little release. Okay. I cannot believe. See? 46-year-old. You'd think I was raised in a Protestant household. I was raised by bikers, god damn it. Like watch out. All right. So we're all adults here. Take care of yourselves. And that's really important. Brooke, sister, feed that beastie at least once a day. For real. Okay. So you feed your cats once a day, right? You feed your animals. Okay. Wanda, I'm also going to be there for Halloween. Now I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, so Wanda's going to be there. Excellent, excellent. So I know that Rachel, who is also on the call, Rachel has been to two of them. She came to the first Halloween one. She came to the May Day one. The Halloween one's going to be a lot of fun. So this is we're learning stuff. We have spirit galleries. We're doing all sorts of things. But one of the things our spirits want us to do is to live fully with peace and power and pleasure. We have all of these abilities to feel and taste, yet we've got to remember balance. There's a difference between playing a game of Yahtzee or losing your house to the casino.
Yeah.
You get it? So it's all balance. It's all it's all balance. And I think that's I I can't go full horn dog here. I have to go balance that stuff. We got to get up and go to work. We got to take care of business. You know what I mean? We got to be responsible adults. But part of being a responsible adult is being responsible to our spirit, and our spirit gains so much out of the pleasures, not just sexual, but food and music and art and dancing and theater. And Pamela writing our books. Okay, that's a pleasurable thing. Having an achievement like that is also something that feeds our soul.
Heard.
Okay. So with that being said, remember your vitamin joy. Okay. By the way, the book, It's a Wonderful Woof, is part of a delightful series of light mysteries. Oh, okay. All with dog puns for titles, told by the voice of a dog. No smut, lol, but fun to read. Yes. Okay. Somebody grabbed that book. Somebody grabbed the book before, between this morning and this afternoon when I went back. I do want to let everybody know that there's a reason why I call it vitamin joy. Joy is something that brings us pleasure. The world is going to give us darkness, turmoil, chaos, and pain. We have to make sure that we take our vitamins in the right dosage. Too much vitamin C can poison us. Enough can keep us alive. So too much joy becomes gluttony. Now, that offers me a segue into what you guys are going to hear first publicly for the very first time. I think some of you know that we have goblin markets, and at the next goblin market here in Littleton on Sunday, June 22nd, I will be releasing in person my Vitamin Joy Tarot deck. I've created a tarot deck, and it's called the Vitamin Joy Tarot deck. It'll be available for person here on Sunday, June 22nd, and then after that Sunday, it'll be available on my website. So I do have a tarot deck coming out because I have this compulsion to create and to add color and beauty and brightness and all that good stuff to bring joy to the world because the world is in dire need of it. So thank you everybody for being here. Aaron, thank you. Yep, it'll be available after the 22nd. It'll be available in person for the Goblin Market, but after that it'll be on my website because I want it to be an in-person thing, and it's part of getting people to come to the Goblin Market, come to the Goblin Market, come to the Goblin Market, where there's plenty of joy.
We live 14 hours away.
Okay, well, order it online on the 23rd.
That I will do. I've already written it down.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So thank you guys for this. I hope everybody here took what they needed away from the messages that were shared from Spirit. And get out there and garden, get your hands dirty, because that's a pleasure in and of itself, right? There's something to be said about actually getting soil and microbes under our fingernails that helps with depression. There's like literal science around it. So get your garden on, Brooke, but don't forget to slap and tickle. Much love to everybody here. I will say this to everybody too. I have to say this at the end. This is like a spirit thing that people like. Spirits reminded me. I got some friends that are reminding me too. On the website where you found the Zoom link, there is a donation button for PayPal, Venmo. If you appreciated what we shared here today, I'd appreciate a cup of coffee. All of these services cost money to keep me running. Lights keep me running, all of that stuff. So I will put that out there. Thank you for today. This will be live in a little bit. To find out all about me, find the other podcast episodes, my readings, my books, my other cards, find me online at joshsimonds.com. Thank you guys for being here your Sunday, and I'll see you guys in Halloween. Okay?
Yay!
All right. Much love to you guys.
All right,
Take care, everybody.